the major league and a lot of these major league organizations, the Yankees, the Mets, all the baseball organizations in the new CBA are thinking about getting rid of some of their minor league teams. Now, as you guys know, most teams have 2 AA teams, 2 AAA teams, and 1 single A team, which is most teams have 5 to 6 minor league organizations that they can get players from. Now the major leagues and the CBA rule, they want to change the CBA rule where they only want to keep 2 or 3 minor league teams for each organization. Here's the reason why I disagree completely on this. There are a bunch of players, a bunch of young kids that get drafted in high school at the age of 15, 16 years old. There are people that are brought up from the Dominican Republic. They're getting contracts at the age of 15, 16 years old with the international rules that the MLB has. And a lot of these players are getting put on these single A teams for years before they move up to AA and AAA. Guys like Gary Sanchez, who the Yankees gave $3 million to, he was brought to the Yankees organization at the age of 15. He didn't come up to the major leagues until the age of 23, 24 years old. It took him years to move up in the rankings and to figure and develop his skills as a major league player. When you cut teams, minor league teams from major league teams, it affects the draft. It affects these players actually finding jobs. Some of these players are in the minor leagues for years. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, even 2 years. They could be there their whole career. Trying to get that first game, and maybe they've been up and down in the major leagues. But they never are full-time players in the major leagues. But they believe in their skills and they believe in their talent. They believe that they'll eventually get back to the major leagues.
Now, one of the issues that has been coming up with minor league baseball and in relation to Major League Baseball is a lot of those players don't get paid a lot. Do you think this could help that kind of thing where if there's less teams, there's more revenue spread around to each team?
How much money are they going to make? I mean, if you think about it, most minor league players are making about $50,000 a year. So how much more are they going to make? $10,000? I mean, is that much? Seriously, if you're playing for the New York Mets, or how about this, the New York Yankees? The Yankees have Scranton, okay? And where's Scranton located?
Pennsylvania.
Depending on where these minor league teams are, they're taxed, okay? So let's say you're in New York or you're playing for an LA minor league team. Their taxes, they're taking at least, what is it?
8%.
8% of whatever you make. So think if you're making $50,000, you're only making in LA, you're only making like $36,000 a year. To me, I don't think this helps baseball. I don't think it opens up any revenue for these players to make more money. I really don't. And even if it does, how much more money are these minor league players going to make? They don't pay them a lot of money. This is why you play minor league baseball, because the belief that you believe that one day you're going to get called up to the major leagues and fulfill your dream.
Right. Now, the only reason I say that is because each minor league team has certain players that are not going to be on major league rosters at the current moment.
Right.
They're, again, maybe just washed up or something like that. But there's also going to be most of them that are AA players that are high prospects, AAA players that are recovering from injury that are major league players. You don't think that the wealth distribution of those players, if there are less teams, maybe one dominant AA team, one dominant AAA team in comparison to having two, would help that kind of thing where minor league players could even be signed quicker out of bigger contracts right away? Because we've seen them, again, gypped over the years of the money that they're getting and they want to get paid more. I feel like that kind of thing would help them get paid more initially. And for those who don't make the team, they could either just make the decision to go back to college or they could just, again, ride it out in that Class A system or that AA system, whatever they don't make. Because those contracts do get moved anyway. They get traded. Or,
so you're telling me you agree to this? If you were on the board right now, you would agree to
I think it would help in terms of the minor league revenue problem that they have right now.
But
Because-
how about the jobs of some of these kids? Some of these kids that decide to leave college to go play professional baseball, now they're going to have to decide, you know what? I might as well stay in college and play college baseball.
Right, but here's the
there's
thing,
like
they're not
how many rounds are there in professional baseball in drafting?
38 or something like that.
38. So where are these 38 round of
Right.
players going to go?
Which is one, already a lot to begin with, and two, it's not like the minor league system would completely go away. It just they would remove the team from the affiliate. So they could, if they're past their college eligibility, they could try to make a living just unaffiliated in the minor leagues, and sometimes those guys get picked up by major league teams later on. They don't have to draft them; they could sign them as a free agent. And
Okay, and if you take
then
away
put them in their minor league
and if you
system.
take
I don't
away-
see much of a difference.
I see a huge difference, because when you look at an organization, you want control of those players. If you're the Yankees right now, and there are a bunch of teams, affiliate organizations that you can look at different players that you want to bring to your organization, you have more power and more money to get those players than the Milwaukee Brewers or the Texas Rangers or of one of those organizations.
Right, but you don't lose your players. You will keep your players.
I understand
the teams
that.
will just switch.
I understand that. It's again, it gives the highly profile teams more advantage to take the players that they feel that'll fit their organization.
But they still have to develop them anyway. That's
fine.
That's
but,
always a test
but that,
for
that
any
doesn't help the
organization.
draft. That doesn't help where the draft is going and where you're going to draft in your 38 rounds. I think it's a terrible move for the major leagues. I really do. I think the MLPA should absolutely look at this and stop changing what baseball has created for years. Okay? You want to put robotic umpires back behind the plate because you think it's going to help pitching, or you think it's going to speed the game? It hasn't speeded the game with what the different changes of rules that they have right now in the major leagues. Look at the rules that they tried to change in the last couple of years. Has it sped up the game? It hasn't. It hasn't. The Yankees play the Red Sox. The Yankees play the Red Sox for 3.5 hours practically every single game. With the new rules, do you think it's going to speed up the game even more? It's not.
But I think this
Because
is more
what the
dealing with
players,
the money. I don't. Think
I'm not
this
even
is dealing
talking
with the-
about that. I'm talking about changing rules. You're changing things. Major League has been around for hundreds of years. Actually, over 100 years. Actually, 120 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you change the rules now when the rules work just fine?
Well, they didn't have all those minor league systems back then either, though.
No, but they started having that in the 50s and the 60s.
That many?
I don't know about that many,
Yeah,
but as it
so-
grew, again, Speedy, baseball is different. There is more athletes now trying to make it to professional sports, so you need a place to put them. If you create leagues out whatever you want to call it, the Outspire League, just like the XFL is for the NFL or the CFL is to the NFL, that's fine. But where are these players going to? Where are the? It just throws me off. It really does. And I don't really want to stay on this topic. Where are these players going to find their place in the major leagues? Or where are they going to find their place where they can grow to get into the major leagues? These outskirts organizations, how many players you think are going to be picked out of the XFL after this year? One?
I would say probably 5 or something like that.
Not even.
You don't
One
think so?
or two.
Well, none of them will be drafted. They'll be undrafted.
One or two. I'm not talking about draft. I'm
Oh, you're
talking
talking about making the team?
making a
Okay,
team in
all
the
right.
NFL.
Yeah, probably
one
something
or
like
two.
Yeah.
Okay. So what makes anybody think that if these organizations are not looking at these players every single day, or sending their scouts every single day to every one of their minor league teams, because that's what scouts are doing. They're sitting and watching their games, watching these players develop.
But there's a difference between football, which doesn't have a minor league system, and baseball, which does. If you sign somebody from a quote-unquote independent league or a former affiliate team to your 40-man roster or your 80-man or whatever the expansion is, and you could put them in your minor leagues, I don't see what the difference is. It's just an informal way of doing
Why
it
change something that has worked for years? Why do it?
to help minor league revenue.
Revenue.
For
Again,
the minor
how
league
much
players.
how much more do you think these minor league players are going to make? If you take away 2 or 3 of those teams, how much more do you think
It's not going to be 2 or 3. It's going to be more than that. It's going to be something along the line of probably 20.
No, I'm talking about each team has 5 minor league teams.
Oh, per team. Okay.
Yes. How much more money you think these players are going to make? 15 grand? 20 grand? After taxes, you're not making that much money, Speedy. If you're talking about $1 million, these players are going to make $1 million. Each of them are going to make $1 million a year. That's different. But if you're only making what, $20,000-$30,000 more, what is the point? What is the point of taking away minor league teams from these organizations where it gives these minor league players a place to play and to grow in their sport?
But I also think long term too, that could help the revenue of the team, where if you're the primary
Does baseball really need different revenue?
Not baseball specifically. The minor league team, which could help again funding for the players later on. So combining with that long term, it could even be more than $20,000.
It's never going to happen. I will tell you this right now. It's never going to happen. There is no way the players union is going to accept that. So that will never happen. I cannot see that happen. I don't care how much more money they're going to make. If they're not making $1 million, there is no way the players union is going to accept that role. No way. That's just my opinion. It's got to go through the players union. It has to absolutely go through the players union because it protects the
One
players.
of the major issues is minor league revenue.